Well, here we are looking forward to building a brand new facility. And we've examined our congregational strengths, our community strengths. We've taken a look at our history of growth, but we also find that we have a need, a tremendous need. We're out of space. And so this becomes really clear for me as we take a look at the life cycle of an organization or of a church. As you can see by the bell-shaped curve, it represents birth and growth and maturity and then decline and eventually death. And that's true for any organization, any church, unless there is intervention that is made along the way. And so as we take a look at that for our own congregation, we see that 15 to 20 years ago, there was an uptick in growth that began. And there were spiritual exercises that were brought into the church that caused the church to begin to grow spiritually and numerically. So much so that in 1999, our one sanctuary service was full. And so we had a decision to make. Do we remain full? Do we mature at that level? Do we stagnate? Do we plateau and eventually decline and die? Or do we add a second service? So we added a second service, and as we can see, the growth continued until 2004, and our second worship service was then full. Another decision was made to add a third worship service, and as a result, the growth continued. 2008, we added our fourth worship service. The youth had a vision of wanting their own worship time, and as a congregation we blessed them to do that, and that created even a little bit more room in our third worship service and gave us more opportunity for growth. But the worship service wasn't the only place where growth was a possibility of being inhibited. We also found it in our parking. And so in 2009, we raised the old parsonage and we created parking that gave us an additional 30-some parking places that gave us again some room to grow. Our classroom space also has been an inhibiting factor. And so earlier this year in 2011, we were given a very generous gift in our office annex and property, which allowed us to move our offices from the church building to the office annex and opened up some classrooms so that Home for Your Heart and youth ministry and other adult classes could meet in our current facility. So we have done all of these things in the last decade to try to continue to allow the positive momentum of growth to continue at Bluegrass. But we're still in a facility that was designed for 300 people. And as you can tell by the bell-shaped curve, we're beginning to make that curve at the top, and we're not growing as quickly as we have in the past. And we believe that our number one inhibitor is our facility. We've seen through the years as we've added staff and as we've added program that the growth has continued. But with that same programming and same staff and same great leadership in our laity, we're coming to a point where we need to make another decision. And so as a congregation, we have made the decision to build. And we have the opportunity now in this first decision to go forward, to have a capital stewardship campaign to determine whether or not we're going to have the funds available to make that a reality. And so we can either choose to build and to continue to grow and keep that positive growth and spiritual growth happening, or we can choose to plateau and eventually decline. I know for us at Bluegrass, I know our heart, I know it's our desire to keep that positive momentum going and to seek and reach our world for Jesus Christ.